I certainly do not like my previous examples, so let's do something more interesting. Now take a peek at how I really have the composition of this quadratic function with the square rooting function, with this natural exponential function, with the cosine function, with the natural log function. I've got 5 different functions in there. That's going to be composing functions 4 times. I'll be using chain rule 4 times. So here I go. To differentiate, I need to differentiate the outermost function first. And if you're confused on which function is the outermost, do this. If you were to evaluate this function at a certain value of x, wouldn't you plug say for example 7 in for x here? Wouldn't you evaluate the quadratic beast at it? Then you take the square root, then you exponentiate, then you take the cosine, then you take the natural log. To identify the outermost function, you're going to go in the reverse direction. So I think the outermost function is a natural log function because that's the last function you evaluate on some number. So here I go. Differentiate the natural log of anything simply gives me 1 over that thing. But the chain rule says multiply that by the derivative of the next outermost function, which is a cosine function. So to differentiate cosine of anything, I get the negative sign of that thing. Next on my list, the chain rule says now multiply by the derivative of what the HECK you were taking the cosine of. Well, that was the exponential function. But the derivative of the exponential function is just simply itself, albeit with a relatively nasty input. Next on my list, I need to multiply by the derivative of what I was exponentiating. But I was exponentiating the square root of something. And so to differentiate the square root of anything, I'm going to get 1 over 2 times the square root of a thing. I'm cheating because I'm running out of room. And lastly, I'm going to multiply according to the 4th application of the chain rule by the derivative of what the HECK I was taking the square root of. That would be the quadratic beast. But the derivative of that quadratic beast is just 2x. So to save myself more room, you mind if I just put it upstairs? And of course, we could never finish a question like this without simplifying. So let's simplify. Let's see. Do you mind if I immediately cancel these 2's? Looks like I will automatically have a fraction. So let me put the fraction bar in. Looks to me like I have a negative sign that needs to be pulled out. Again, in my most lazy fashion, do you mind if I just rewrite the sign of that thing over the cosine of the same darn thing as merely the tangent of the thing? So let's see, what if I not take care of upstairs? I guess this exponential factor and that monomial factor, I'll put them in. Lastly, looks like I have to take care of that radical beast downstairs. I'll put it here. And I'm afraid there's just nothing else I can do to simplify that nasty business any further. Now that is a test-worthy question.